Hello, and here we go for episode 9 of Storytime. I think it's 9, if not, it might be 10. I've lost count, okay? But we're pretty much halfway through already, so let's get going. Right, here we go. Chapter 44 The Patient Robot. After being trapped on Hilltop Farm for nearly a year, Roz was now free to run away, because remember he's just had his transmitter removed. Any time she liked, but without Brightbill to guide her, she wouldn't make it very far, so the robot patiently waited for spring to come and for her son to return, so they could begin their long journey home together. It's a short one, chapter 45. The barn conversations. As winter dragged on, Roz spent more of her time inside with the herd. There were long stretches of quiet. The cows chewed their hay. The robot tapped the farm computer. The wind gently rattled the window. And then someone would start talking. Someone else would chime in, and the quiet of the barn would gradually be over by conversations like these. I'm so bored. Tess was staring at the floor. I can't wait until spring when I can wander through tall grass and feel warm sunlight on my back. I just hope I don't die of boredom first. Old Annabel snorted. You young cows are spoilt rotten, she said. Your lives are so easy and you still find things to complain about. Tess rolled her eyes. Yeah, we should be grateful for what we've got. You've told us before. Well, you should be grateful for what you've got, said Annabel. I've lived on other farms, and trust me, you have nothing to complain about. Tess couldn't help being curious, and she said, What were those other farms like? Oh, I'd rather not discuss them, said Annabel in a low voice. You see, I've witnessed some terrible things on those farms. It was a blessing when I moved here, but I often think of the animals I left behind. I do hope they're okay. The old cow sank into her thoughts for a moment. I know life isn't perfect here, she said at last, but we have so much to be grateful for. We have our lovely herd, and we have the beautiful barn, and we have Roz, added Tess. And we have Roz. Annabel turned and smiled at the robot in the corner. Roz listens to us and treats us with love and kindness, and she makes our lives as comfortable as she possibly can. We certainly will miss her when she's gone. Roz, why do humans need so much cow's milk? Said Lily as the other calves crowded around her. It was a question they'd all been wondering about. Well, there are billions of humans in the world, explained Roz, and many of them drink milk and combine it with different ingredients to make different foods. What kinds of foods? Said another calf. Butter and cheese and yoghurt are made with milk, said Roz. Many desserts are also made with milk. What's desserts? Said someone else. A dessert is a sweet food eaten at the end of a meal. Popular desserts include custard and cake and ice cream. This answer only raised more questions. What's cake? What's custard? What's ice cream? Roz tried her best to explain these foods to the calves, but it wasn't easy. After all, the robot couldn't even perform the simple act of eating. How could she possibly describe the flavours and sensations of tasting delicious desserts? Lily interrupted. Just tell me this, Roz. When we're older, will our milk be used to make desserts? Yes, said the robot. The calf smiled, and then they trotted away, happy in the knowledge that someday they'd help to bring sweet and delicious things into the world. It is almost spring, said Roz to the herd. It is almost time for me to run away, back home to the wilderness. I am sorry that I must leave you, but you will be well cared for here when I am gone. I promise. Cows began mooing from their stalls. Don't worry about us, Roz. There's no need to apologise. We understand why you're running away. Lily poked her head through the railings of the stall and said, I could never run away to the wilderness. I would be too frightened. I love to roam through the wilderness, said Tess. It sounds so exciting. No wilderness for me, thank you very much, said Annabel. I just want a quiet, cosy life. I have plenty to fear in the wilderness, said Roz. However, I have more to fear here. I can never be my true self around humans, and so I must try to return to my home. I only wish I could do it by myself, she went on. But I need help. I could never escape from the farm without the children, and I could never find my way home without my son. I feel so bad for asking for so much of them. Don't feel bad, said Lily. Brightbill and the children want to help you. They love you. We all do. The farm won't feel the same without you, Roz, but we know you're doing the right thing. The herd agreed with Lily, and throughout the barn, cows quietly nodded their heads. Can't turn the page. Chapter 46. The Spring. With each passing day, the sun climbed a little higher, and the rays grew a little warmer. The last patches of snow melted away, and the colour returned to the land. The pasture and the fields and the trees, they were all turning bright green, and the air slowly filled with the fresh smell of spring flowers. And there's some flowers there. Many of the cows had been steadily growing bigger, and now calving season had arrived. When the time was right, each cow went out to the pasture so her calf could be born in soft grass. The robot stood nearby just in case anyone needed her help, but nobody ever did. Even the first-time mothers knew what to do instinctively, and soon newborn calves were frolicking around the farm. Spring was a happy, exciting time, and yet Roz was distracted. More and more she found herself looking into the skies, hoping to see Brightbill and his flock. She knew they were on their way. Can we fit another one in? And the next one's quite a long one, so we might leave it there for the day. How long will it take for Brightbill to return? We'll have to find out tomorrow. See you then!